Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Let's make sure everything's good on my end. And we'll get into it. Okay. So team comps. Let's see. Renekton and KO. Lee Sin, Master Yi, Azir, Jin, Thresh. Okay. So pretty odd matchup. Azir definitely not a very popular champion anymore. Lane is not great, not awful. If he uses Q to harass you, then you can land. He doesn't have anything to dodge Charm or your Q, so that's something you should be looking out for in the lane for sure. Doran's Ring, Boots are both fine here. Boots helps you avoid getting hit by the third auto from the soldiers that procs Thunderlords. I'm assuming he's running Thunderlords. Okay. Good Q here. Oh god, your team's going ham. Okay. Should actually back up a little bit here after throwing Q.
I was trying to dodge the Thresh Q.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Unfortunate. It's a pretty interesting flash from Annie without having stun. Okay. Doesn't really change too much about your lane. You're down a little bit of HP and mana, but not a big deal. Yeah. Yep, so let's speed up until the lane actually starts. Okay. So still got all your summoners. You're basically good as new. Okay. So autoing immediately. Looks like you're gonna Q him and the wave there. Good. Got all the melees and tagged him as well. Staying away from the soldier here. You can't move the soldier at level 1, so you're pretty free to harass him. Showing the wave up with Q here. Yep. Well, this is fine. Missing a few CS, but that's whatever. Right, once again, you can be looking up for Q right here. You don't have to be afraid of him ever. There's no way he can ever proc Thunderlords on you without his Q. So at level 1, he's really not a threat at all. You hit level 2 before him here, but you don't actually use your spike because you got a pretty good amount of time right around here because you have more minions from here. You Q right here, get some poke on him. And then you hit level 2 here. You could have auto this minion, then walked up and looked for a W or looked for an E on him in between there. Yeah, you would have had to tank the soldier a little bit, but if you had hit the charm, you wouldn't have had to worry about the soldier anyway. You would have just won the trade, procced your Thunderlords. So good on you to get the extra level, the early level 2, but gotta make sure you're abusing it as well. So lane even again, down 2 CS, not the worst thing in the world. So you want to be keeping the pressure on him. You're kind of just auto-pushing the wave as he pushes himself. But you could be putting pressure on him at the same time as pushing because he's not necessarily always standing away from the wave. Yeah, like that. When he steps out to the side like that, don't be afraid to look for charm here.
Okay.
Because,
oh yeah, there's a fight in the river.
Yeah. It's very hard for him to trade with you. Yep. Ooh. Okay, so let's see when you actually get vision of this fight. Okay, so just take a look at your vision. So they kill top. Lee Sin hasn't showed up yet. You can assume he's on the top side because he started bottom. He got a leash from his bot lane. They got in the lane late, so you know he's somewhere on the top side most likely. Good trade there. So you see Lee Sin now. Your response is pretty fast, all things considered. His is faster than yours because Lee Sin's camping on your E, but yeah, you get there about as fast as you can. Missed the charm, just micro error. Had you hit the charm, it would have been pretty free kill. Could have flashed to secure it, but not the worst thing in the world that you don't. The fact that your spawn is good means you're paying attention to the map. Okay, so now you should be playing more to the right side of the lane and looking for harass from this pocket of the lane until he forces you away with the soldier, because you know Lee Sin's on the top side right now. and he shouldn't be crossing back to the bottom side anytime soon because he's got 5 CS. So 5 CS means he's done this camp, he's done wolves, and he's done red. So all he has left is rafters if he's not recalling already, and if he does do rafters, then he's too low to really gank you. And I guess, yeah, you could do Krugs too. But you know that he's going to be on the top side of the map, so you should be hugging the bottom pocket right now. Especially because you don't even have a ward there. Also, you've got 2 wards on you right now, so shoving the lane here and dropping a ward on the rafters, or shoving the lane and then dropping a ward towards wolves would be really, really good, just so you know like what he's doing, because you know he's going to be on the top side or not being able to gank you for a little longer because he was pretty chunked after fighting Master Yi. So either he goes back immediately and then most likely goes to bot side, or he goes up and kills Krugs like he is now. Regardless of it, you want to be getting vision in the jungle soon, so you know, so you're confident that you won't get ganked, because you have 2 wards on you right now to use. Right. Being shoved in a little bit here. Just evening out the wave. So that's a pretty good spot for you. The wave is going to push here. You should be looking for harass here. You shouldn't be sitting this far back on your wave right now because you have a pot lead on him and he's pretty weak at this stage of the game. He also used his exhaust earlier to fight Master Yi. If you're just playing, and you could just be playing in this pocket of the lane, and then as soon as he uses Q to trade with you, he's got no way to dodge charm, or you can even just charm him at the start and then walk out of his soldier. You're playing really passive when you don't really need to be that afraid of him, because the way his trades work, it's very difficult for him to trade against you, just because of how difficult it is for him to play around charm, whether you hit him with it or whether you hit him with it in the beginning of the trade or you hit him with it in the middle of the trade, because he doesn't have a good way to juke it if he wants to trade with you with Q. Yep. So he uses Q here to shove, so it's down for a little bit. You can look for a charm once again, but you're playing really far back here, not really looking for any harass at all. Okay, so look for it here. Even just short trades like that where you don't even commit charm are completely fine, and you could be doing them much more than you are right now. Because, yeah, you've got 2 pots still, and now he's just chugged his last pot. So you could be playing up on him here and trying to poke him down. Because if you can sync up hitting your level 6 right around when you've taken a few trades with him, then you can just all in him with your ignite and kill him pretty easily. But yeah, you're not really trading with him, and you let him just kind of shove the wave even though he's low on mana and he's got no pots left. So as soon as he disappears here, you should be looking to queue this next wave because it's likely he's gone back. There's no point in not queuing this wave. You've got so much mana and it's super likely that he's gone back at this point, so you want to just counter shove the wave into the turret so you can get it back in too. It seems like you realize now, but with the information you had about his mana and how long he disappeared, you should have known earlier than you did that he'd recalled. Because now you don't push the wave in time, and it's in a bad spot, and he's not really going to lose much at all. It's probably too many minions for him to freeze it because he's not a champion with innate sustain, but you give him the opportunity to get all of the minions because you don't shove it in time for it to crash into the turret. So 1340 gold here. Lost chapter, boots, control ward. Yep, that's the buy. Okay, good. Walk back to lane here. Okay, so you've still got both of your pots from the level 1 Doran's ring buy. So you can be pretty actively looking for trades. This guy went for a really greedy buy. He came into lane without any pots. So basically all you need to do is take trades with him, but don't die to him in an all-in, and you're going to get a huge lane advantage here because you've got double pots plus you got double HP pots, you've got sustain from your passive, and you've got Lost Chapter for mana. And this guy literally has Doran's Ring only for mana, and he's got a Stinger. So he's got no HP sustain at all, and he's got very minimal mana sustain. So if you take trades with him and just force him to use resources, it's going to be way more beneficial for you in the long run. All you need to do is not die to him to an all-in, and that's pretty simple for you because you're Ahri. So he postures like he wants to look for a roam here, but then you see him walk back on the board. So right there, when he uses Q, you can just go straight on him. Because the thing about Azir is that as soon as he uses Q, for a good, what is this cooldown, 5 seconds? 7 seconds. A good 7 seconds, even with Stinger. It's 7 seconds where he can't move a soldier anywhere. So if he wants, he has no way to E away from you. His only option, if you are onto him twice here and look for charm, is to ult you away. And then if he's got no ultimate, then it's very, very easy for you to look for charm later and just kill him. Because the only way for him to get you off is ultimate, and it's not even guaranteed that it'll save him because you have 3 dashes and you can just dash around the wall. But you don't punish him at all for using Q. You haven't punished him at all in this lane for using Q yet. You've just been kind of passive farming here. And now you take a trade when you're down a level, and it doesn't go well for you. Because you do it when he's got all of his cooldowns. So there's a few problems with the trade. One, he's got more minions than you at the start. I guess you chunk it out right there, so it doesn't really matter. The bigger problem is that you trade into him when he doesn't even have to queue to move the soldier to you. It's autoing you from the start, and he's a level up on you. You're really close to level 7. You could have just waited for your level 7 before initiating this all-in. All you needed to do is kill like the rest of the backline. So he hits you with Q. The soldier's hitting the whole time, then he gets ultimate and E on you. So basically, you let him hit everything on you, and that's why this trade goes so poorly. That plus the fact that he's got a level on you. Okay. So small micro error to point out. When you're dashing away from him after this all in, you can actually just toss a backwards charm towards him, and so we're looking at this way. So you have to ult here, and then you just toss a charm at him right here. He's got absolutely no way to juke you. It's too close. He probably can't react with flashing, and he's literally auto attacking you. So you know he's not going to be juking at all. So you toss his charm to him right here, and then you hit a Q on him. After you hit a Q on him and then dash away. That's a lot more damage to him. He's probably about half HP right now instead of 80%, whatever he is right now. So imagine he's half HP right now, and then you dash back in at the end here and put a little bit more damage on him, and he's probably 40%, 30% right now. You missed the Q, which is another mechanical mistake, but assuming you hit the charm there and then you hit everything, he'd be probably like 30, 40% here, maybe even 20%, and then you still have your flash and your ignite. He's down his exhaust. He's still got his flash, but he's out of mana to trade with you properly. Like I said earlier, he doesn't have much mana sustain. He's got no HP sustain, and you're about to get HP from your passive and leveling up, and your pots are still ticking. So bot lane's fighting here. Not really much you can do about that. So let me actually take a look at your vision. Do you see Azir roam down here? Okay, so you see Azir walk down. So immediately as soon as you see Azir walk down, you should be looking to shove this wave instead of channel recall like you do here. Because you see he's pretty low mana, he doesn't have any way to restore his mana quickly. No lost chapter, nothing. Shouldn't be close to leveling up. There's no reason for you to back here. You don't have to necessarily match the Azir here, but there's no reason to back here. You can just shove the wave here, and he has to, like, whether or not he completes his roam all the way going down towards bottom or not, if you shove the wave here, he's going to miss minions, or he's going to be forced to walk all the way. Like, he's going to miss minions even if he does walk back at this point, but if he commits to the dive, you can make him miss the whole wave instead of just 1 or 2. So he commits fully to the roam, and you're following late. I don't agree with this, simply because what realistically are you going to do in a roam here, right? You got no ultimate, you're half HP. You can flash charm someone, but your team's not exactly in position to fight. This guy's low. Like he's about half, but this guy's low. He's channeling recall. He clearly doesn't want to fight. There's not even a real point in matching the roam because you're really late and you don't really have the resources to contribute to a fight, even if you do go down. So the better play as soon as you saw Azir cross towards bottom on that ward and then this ward here is to just shove the wave. Once again, because you don't realize this fast enough that he's gone, you shove the wave too slow, and it's once again in a position where he's not really going to miss that many creeps. So it seems like you understand like what you should be doing in situations. You just hesitate or you don't understand quick enough, and it's hurting you. Because the CS you're down, this differential, it pretty much would all be made up for, despite all the mechanical errors you've made in like trading and like the all-in so far. Like despite all of that, if you had just been shoving, if there's two situations where he was out of lane, you just shoved it quickly instead of hesitating, you would be even CS despite everything right now.
Yeah. Both times I was shoving, I realized the push wouldn't make it to the turret. I was like, shit.
Yeah. It's good that you don't greed to try to get into the turret, because that would be even worse. But yeah, very fixable mistake. Just need to identify what's going on in the situation faster than you have these past 2 times. So yeah, that's the only type of trade that you need to really watch out for when he WQ autos you, or I think it's just he just Q double autos you off the slow. Yeah, Q double auto. So yeah. All you need to watch out for is, like, you can eat Q auto, you just need to make sure you don't eat Q double auto, because Q double auto is brutal because of the Thunderlord's proc.
Oh, I think I tried all in here, yeah.
Okay. Is that your garage? Okay.
Oh, yeah, well.
Okay.
Because I knew his exhaust was down, so I thought I would win the all-in.
Okay, so the problem here is I don't think you go in when you're level 8. Okay, first mistake is you're not popping your pots like when you're missing the health here. If you're planning to look for the all-in, then you should be popping pots like way earlier than you are. As soon as you take that Q double auto from him, you should be popping it. And even regardless of the fact if you were looking for an all-in or not, you should be popping it, because at this HP, like even if you're not looking for an all-in, he's looking for an all-in on you. You don't want to be starting the fight at this low health. So, and the other thing is, you initiate. Look how close you are to level 8, right? Look how close you are to level 8, and level 8 is a pretty big. Like every level is a pretty big difference, honestly. Like bonus health, bonus mana, bonus stats, and obviously the extra damage on your E or your W, whatever you skill up next. And on E, it's an extra 0.25 seconds of CC too. Like, if you had been level 8 at the start of this fight, it would have made a pretty significant difference. Right at the very end here, like, for mechanically, like, most of this fight is pretty fine. Like, hit both parts of your Q, proc your Thunderlords fast, you are immediately out of his soldier. The only thing is, I think you throw charm a little too late. You're a bit too conservative with using it. In this case, you're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. He's got his ultimate right here. He's got 2 soldiers here. Probably the best bet you would have had would have been to R towards this side, away from all of his soldiers. But regardless, you probably would have gotten hit by something. So he E's towards you here, and you E flash away. Barely doesn't kill him. Yeah. If you had been level 8 at the very start of that fight and you'd been popping pots throughout the whole way, probably would have won that. But because you start the fight like 300 HP down, you pop your pot late into the fight, and you start it down a level, all those factors just add up into making you lose that 1v1, despite the fact that his exhaust is down. Yep. Wasn't a bad decision to go for the all-in, you just needed to make sure you were level 8 first. It's good identification that his exhaust is down and you can look for an aggressive play, but you're just there's too many factors stacked against you there. Like you were too low, you hadn't popped pots yet, and you weren't on equal level with him when taking the all-in. Like mechanically, most of it was pretty fine. The only thing, like I said, your charm was a bit late, but aside from that, that's pretty fine. So maxing charm second, I think that's much better than W. So picked up Fiendish Codex on the base. Didn't really have much gold for anything else. That's fine. Missing some CS, it's fine, just mechanical error happens. So, don't really know where Azir is. You still haven't put down your control. I'm assuming you're gonna put it down like right here. Okay, that's fine. Pinging your lane missing, good. Can't really roam yet because I don't believe your ultimate's up. I'm pretty sure that's a spectator glitch. Let me see. Yeah, it's a spectator glitch. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, can't look for a roam here with the lane pushed. Just because you don't have your ultimate, really not worth it to roam, especially because the Azir will be back in lane soon. Okay, so at this point you can't really look for an all-in anymore. You used both your summoners in the last engagement. He only used flash, he still got his exhaust, and obviously he's got the golden EXP lead on you now. So you want to take really non-committal trades, kind of like that one is, where you don't really walk up into a range where he can Q double auto you for that Thunderlord's proc, because that's that spells death for you right now. Like, you cannot trade like that. Also, what is this build? What the? Okay. So all you want to do at this point is, whenever he's away like that, you just want to be shoving the lane as fast as possible. There's no point in holding on to your Q as long as you were there. You just want to get this pushed and then get out, because you can't really stay in a lane with him safely. Oh god. So you look for the roam here, but you're late once again. So talk about this in a sec. Okay. Okay. So based on the information you have, so let's see when Azir disappears. He goes and kills your pink, like right after this. So for starters, you should be queuing this wave immediately. Just immediately queuing this wave, because he's not in the lane to punish you for not having Q up. So you need to just shove this and start forcing him over to the lane if he doesn't want to miss minions. So you wait too long to push, and then it's kind of the same thing as before. By the time you realize that he's gone, it's probably too late, because whether this guy survives or not is going to be like independent of whatever your reaction to Azir is, because this guy, there's no way Azir is already down bottom. If this guy wants to live for sure, he just walks away right now, and there's nothing they can do. And the thing is, if this guy walks away, then the turret's gonna drop, and you're not gonna make it in time to save the turret either. Your best play here is to just shove the wave and pressure the mid turret, because your response is so late, and your response isn't even as strong as Azir's right now, because Azir, like he solo killed you, he's got a lead on you in the lane. Like, he's got more gold, he's stronger than you. Like, not only is your response late, your response isn't even like strong enough to match Azir. Best case scenario, you like pick up Jhin or something. And the thing is, like, you won't make it before Azir, so if you won't even be in a situation where you'll be able to 2v3 them under the turret, because Kate should be either gone or dead before you get there, regardless of what you do. So yeah. So, good understanding of the situation to not pursue for the Jhin, because Azir still has ultimate. He could have just peeled you off. Probably would have been suicide. The only thing I'll say about the situation is that when Azir steps on the trap right around here, you should be charming him immediately, and you don't necessarily have to follow up for the charm, but maybe if you keep him here long enough, you hit the charm on him, and then he, like, I don't know, maybe he tries to trade with you or anything, and then if Annie shows up in time, then maybe you can kill him. Just like, there's no harm in throwing the charm on him right there, and it's guaranteed it'll hit too, because he's just sitting on the trap. So you can get a little bit of poke for him too, because there's a chance he walks back to mid lane too, and like I said earlier, he doesn't really have sustain, he's got no pots in his inventory, so, whatchamacallit, that harass will stick onto him. So Caitlyn's dead here, or Caitlyn died, so you don't really have a choice. You have to shove the lane. Once again, you're too averse to using your mana to push here. Like, you should just be hard pushing it. There's no reason not to be hard pushing it. Like, there's a potential chance they're in the bush, but all you need to do is hug the top side and you'll be okay, because Annie's covering you too. Right, so mid-wave rebounding to you now. Azir hasn't recalled, so that poke, if you had done it to him earlier, would have definitely been stuck on him for now. Okay, get most of the wave there. Okay, shove it here. Good. Kill all the back wave. You ping your lane missing earlier than you are here. You're not pinging at all. Now as you're showing top. Okay. Once again, you need to just identify when it's too late for you to roam and just commit to pushing the lane. Because there's no way you make it at this point. Like, look at this. You're literally still in the lane and he's already there and you don't have ultimate. Like, there's no point in even attempting to go up like you are here. Just push the lane. And there's also no reason for you to back up after here. Like, you start backing up instead of hitting the turret. You know, if you want to recall for Morello, that's one thing. But, or you don't even have enough.
I do actually recall for Morello.
Okay. Is it 1065 with?
I'll be at 1100 by the time I land in base.
Oh, it's 1100. Okay, so yeah. I was about to say, either you walk up and hit the turret or you base. You don't dilly around there because there's nothing else to do. Like, you're safe to hit the turret if you want to hit the turret because everyone's accounted for. 3 people were top, 2 people were bottom, and if you want to base, then you just base. So that's fine. Pick up your Morello here. Okay, walking back to the lane. Okay. No. So at this point your summoners are about to come up, so you could potentially look for an all-in if you want, as long as he doesn't hit level 11. So here's the thing about Azir, okay? Right now he's sitting on a lot of gold. About getting close to a fourth of his net worth. And you can know this because if you've been paying attention to his items, he's had the same items ever since he came back into lane. He came back into lane, and then he went down to kill your pink ward, and then he went down to roam bottom, and then he came all the way back around. He got blue buff, came back around to middle, shoved it again, then went top, and he still hasn't spent in all this time. So right now, if you're at the same level as him, he's got more EXP than you. He's probably pretty close to 11. But if you engage onto him at level 10s, you've got a pretty good chance of winning. One, his exhaust is down from using it top. And 2, he has a lot of gold on him, whereas you have just come back from a base and spent. So he's 1100 on him, 4800 net worth. So you spent about 3700 of his gold. You're down like 700 gold, but you've actually spent more gold than him, and you've got a completed item in Morello where he only has fragments of items. He has the Nashor's components and sword shoes. So if you were going to look for a time to get back into the lane, this would be it. You shove the wave here because you realize he went to dragon, so that's good. Here's the thing. You can stop him. If you hadn't used charm to kill the cannon there, you would have had it to stop him here. You could have just stopped him from crossing at all by just landing charm on him and then all-ing him here, because this is a really awkward spot for him. He wants to go get the minions. There's a way of crashing into the turret, but if you engage on him here, regardless of the fact of you can kill him or not, if you just spend time fighting him, he can't get the minions. Regardless of whether you kill him or not, the goal isn't necessarily to kill him. Obviously, that would be the ideal goal, but it's not 100% necessary. If you had just held charm and just like not let him back into the lane here, just not let him cross here, he would miss that whole wave, and there's no way he should ever kill you unless you opt into an all-in fight. Because, you know, worst case scenario, you dash in, right? You charm him, you Q him, you W him, he dashes into you with QE, with a, what do we call it, QEW, or WQE, whatever order, and then he ults you, right? And then you just dash away with your next 2, because he can't, like, there's no way he should ever burst you out with just Q, just like a few soldier autos and QE and R. Like, there's no way you should ever die to it. You didn't die to it like level 8 versus level 7, you're not going to die to it now. Unless you opt in to an all-in like you did last time. But this time you have flash too. Like, there's no way he should ever kill you, and you have a chance to kill him too. And if you do opt into the trade, then he loses that whole wave. And the thing is, he doesn't have sustain either. Once again, he's got no pots, and you've got double pots. So there's no reason to not look for it there. You don't ever want to let your laner like cross back for free. Unless you want to make it so that he either goes the long way around this way and misses minions, or he eats harass for trying to walk back into the lane the dangerous way. But you just kind of let him off the hook for free, and because of that, you're still equal to him on CS. Okay. So that's basically your window. Pretty much, I want to say completely gone, but a lot of it is gone here. You see Lee Sin walking, try to EM, that's fine. The bot lane is rotating up to you. So not much you can do here, kind of just have to wait at the turret. You guys are looking like you're going to trade. Azir goes top to hold on the Herald. All you need to do here is just Q. And your job here is to just try to clear the wave as safely as you can without getting hooked. Good shot. Good. Nice.
Oh, I missed a charm here.
It's fine. Happens. Oh, wow. Can't believe he gets out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's walk through this. Okay. Get the Mobies off Lee Sin immediately. Makes it very easy for you to charm him. Dash forward here. Okay. So, I don't like this dash away. This is like the only real the only real like decision making error in this fight. There's no real need for you to dash away here because Annie hasn't used any of her cooldowns at this point until she uses this Tibbers right here because she got hooked by Thresh. And the thing is, what's gonna happen is Jin is gonna be focusing Annie right now, right? There's no reason for him to be focusing you because he's trying to finish off the Annie before she can get spells off. So you're not actually under any threat. You don't need to dash away like you do here. I understand you don't have cooldowns, but the thing is the Jin will not be hitting you. His priority is hitting the Annie that's been hooked and is really low to try to finish her off here. And Annie ends up getting the stun off anyway. And because you dash away right there, you realize once the Tibbers comes out that you can re-engage, which is good. But you should have realized, like, just from when you were here originally, when you killed Lee Sin about 5 seconds ago, I'll just rewind it exactly to when it happened, right before you dash away, that they weren't going to be able to put enough threat onto you to necessitate you dashing away here. Because look at this situation, okay? If from right there, there's no threat on you, you know? Like this guy, yeah, he hurts, and yeah, you're next to him. But the thing is, right here, you still have 2 dashes. You can dash, like, you can dash aggressively towards the right here, and then you can dash downwards, or you can dash upwards, and then if you get focused down again, you can dash back to the left, and he can't chase you. Because his cooldowns are all expended on the Annie, and the thing is, like, the rest of your team is coming too. There's no need to be so afraid to dash out here. And because you dash out here, it ends up costing you this kill, because Jin flashes away when you come back in, and you end up not being able to finish him off. Had you dashed at an aggressive angle rather than being afraid, you would have had at least the Jin and maybe the Thresh too. Okay. Aside from that, and the Mischarm, fight was good. You identified you could immediately burst out Lee Sin, that's what you did. And going back now. Okay, so probably your 2-2 boots here, whatever boots you want, is more about preference. Silk shoes are okay. Ionian boots are fine. Merc treads are fine. But you go for Ether Wisp here, for Ludens. I guess it could be Lichbane too. I don't necessarily agree with this. I don't think Ludens is a very good second item. In this game, the Jin's really fed. The Renekton's feeding. The Lee Sin is about normal strength. So Zhonya's wouldn't be bad here. The thing about Zhonya's versus this team is that most of the time when you fight Azir, you're gonna dash up to him and you're gonna go for charm or you're gonna go for spells, and then he's gonna have to ult you, right? If you can predict his ult, you can just Zanya's and it'll go through you, and then you can just kill Azir, or he has to flash away from you and use exhaust. So Zanya's is very useful too, very useful here for Azir, as well as the Jhin, because he's very fed. So that's an option for second item. I don't think Lichbane is a very common second item if you go Morello first. I think the more common Ahri build now is actually to do Gunblade Rush. But if you do Morello Rush, I don't think you can go Lichbane second, so that's not really an option. Death Cap is bad. Void Staff isn't necessarily here. Leandries and Hunting Guys wouldn't be bad here either. You could stack it with Sork Shoes. You could stack it with Sork Shoes and just blow up the Jhin because he went Tabi instead of Treads.
Yeah. I ended up building that into Ludens.
Okay, and same thing with Azir. He doesn't have MR, so he will get destroyed if he goes Sork Shoes Hunting Guys. Okay. Ludens is a pretty bad second item now. Just Hunting Guys is almost always better in every scenario. Hunting Guys to Leandries. It gives you health, gives you the extra pen, so you do pretty much true damage to squishies. You don't build MR if you stack it with Sork Shoes and pen reds, and gives you health too. And as a champion like Ahri, who you're usually going to be eating at least a little bit of damage when you go in, the extra health is always nice. So I would pretty much never go Ludens second anymore. Either do the Gunblade Lichbane build, or do like Morello into Hunting Guys / Leandries. It's a bit weirder on Ahri because you already do some true damage, but the Hunting Guys is still better because it gives you more room for error on your spells because you'll be doing more damage. You'll be doing more consistent damage, like your R and your W can't miss, so even if you're not landing charms or landing Qs, having all that flat pen will make it very difficult for them to survive against you. So you're just kind of holding mid here. I'd assume Master E Kayle duo is just running train across top lane. Jesus. So bot lane's already shoved, so you don't really have to do anything. And he opens up. Okay, so this situation is pretty odd. It's kind of like a 1-3-1, but instead it's a 2-3 instead of a 1-3-1.
Kayle goes this super cheese build to like support Master Yi.
Yeah. So the concept of the 2-3 is kind of like the same as a 1-3-1. You guys, as a 3-stack, you wait for an opportunity to go in, and that opportunity comes in because Jhin, this bot wave has been building for a long time, and Jhin, or someone has to go catch it. It ends up being Jhin, and as soon as Jhin leaves middle, you should know you're free to engage on them. Well, as soon as you're gonna see both people show up real soon, because Lee Sin's about to show top, Jhin shows bottom here. So you see Lee Sin top. So right around now, you know that these guys are officially out of position because you've got 3 people here and they've only got 2. And you know it's 2 because the other 3 people on the map are being accounted for. So now you can actually just look with your ultimate for a charm on someone because there's no need to be afraid and your team can just follow up on your engage. Annie's engage works too, but Annie's engage is really predicated on this Azir getting really greedy and using his Q to poke you here, and then Annie kind of just walks up and dunks him. And it's good that you follow up, but in a situation where maybe this guy was like even lower, or like it wasn't a support who can engage so easily, you've got to identify the situation, what happened in the situation. You know, you've got 2 people, well, they were top, they're dead now, and Jhin bottom. You need to understand, like, oh, we've got 3 here, we need to make sure we don't let the other, just the 2-stack push around our 3-stack and just go in there. Once again, it's kind of the same scenario as, or the same concept as this earlier when you let Azir cross in, is the intent isn't to kill, the intent is to force them away so they can't defend the turret, or in the other case, force him away so he can't get the minions. It's the same concept here. You don't need to kill the Azir. What's important is that you just put pressure on him and get him low so that he can't stick around anymore. And obviously you make sure that you don't die either, but same thing as before. He can't really kill you because you have 3 dashes and he's got 1 and an ultimate. And he doesn't do enough damage to one-shot you at this stage of the game, not even close. So it's good that you follow up to Annie going in there, but it's important to identify that in a different scenario where you don't have a support who's as good at engaging on a dime as this Annie is, that you identify the situation yourself and take it into your own hands. Okay, so 1483 gold here. If you're going for Ludens, definitely needlessly large here. You won't have another good chance to save up 1250 most likely. So yeah, walking back towards middle here. You give your bot lane the farm. That's fine.
I felt like Kate needed it more at this point than I did, considering her farm.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Shove this wave. This guy's eating traps. Okay. So you want to just do one more wave here and then go catch top lane. Because no one is... either catch top lane or... Okay, your team wants to fight for dragon, so you just stick around for dragon here. It's unfortunate that no one's going to catch this top wave, but if your team is wanting to fight around dragon, you need to be with them. Okay. So where are you during this, actually? Okay, so this is really important. When your team wants to contest an objective, either Baron or Dragon or Rift Herald, whatever, the most important thing is having mid priority, which is what you get. Like, your first job is to get mid priority unless the objective has already been started. You want to get mid priority by shoving the wave, and then you want to go to your team. You don't ever want to let them. You don't ever want to let them. You don't ever want to let them shove the wave into the turret before you go, because if they shove the wave into the turret, they don't even have to respond to you. They can literally just shove all the way down middle, and then your team gets put in a really bad position where you're coming from the objective and you have to come at an awkward angle to fight them, and it's very easy for them to just exit out the opposite side that you're coming from. So getting mid priority here is really good. It's your primary job as a mid laner, and even as an AD carry in some cases, it'll be your job to do that. So that's the reason you're late to the pick on Thresh, but it's completely fine because your job was to get mid priority. So now you're a man up and you're doing the dragon. Okay. So in this case you didn't really need to, but in a case where the dragon isn't going down as fast and the Lee Sin is more bold than he is here, your job isn't to necessarily damage the dragon, your job is to zone the Lee Sin from getting a chance to steal it. So had he stepped up past this line into the river, you should have just, you need to know that your job is to stop him from getting anywhere close to the pit, and you should just dash on him. But he doesn't in this case, so there's no need for you to. But had he stepped any closer, he was towing the line. You need to know that your job is to make sure he cannot get into the pit. Your job is to make sure your jungler is as comfortable as possible in securing the objective. Yep. So we are once again doing the Ghetto 3-2, the Ghetto 131.
We pretty much 3-2 the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely not a common strategy, but it works. So they've got a 3-stack here, so you guys back off and just let your 2-stack. Holy god, this build! You just let your 2-stack do work, because they should win it. You should have actually, at this point, when Azir has the turret here, like, there's a big wave here. As soon as you guys kill the Azir turret, you should actually be rotating top here, because that wave is pretty bad to miss, and it's crashing hard. As soon as the third person gets pulled over here, you should be leaving. Even before the third person gets pulled here, you want to be like getting ready to leave, because there's such a big wave of minions top. to catch. Like there's all of those, and another wave is coming too. So the latest you should have left was like right when you see Thresh. Then like immediately as soon as you saw Thresh, so you knew there was at least 3 middle, you should have been moving to top already, instead of staying here and trading or sharing the farm with this Caitlyn.
Okay.
Especially because like the thing is, having the 3-2, if you don't have the lane shoving, if you don't have like the opposite lane shoving where no one is there, then it's a lot less effective because you're losing like minions for free. When you guys were 3-2ing earlier, I believe you had like a huge wave coming into the bottom, right? You had a huge wave coming in bottom that Jin had to catch, and because of that, because you guys set up your wave properly for this, obviously, I'm pretty sure it was unintentional, but because it shaked out this way, you guys were able to engage on them like this. But it's the opposite in this case. You guys don't have the lane set up at all. You're actually losing minions, so eventually you have to pull away. But you guys pull away so late that you end up losing minions for free too. At this stage into the game, it's better for you to be off catching side lane waves than it is for Caitlyn because theoretically it's very easy for the enemy mid laner or the enemy top laner or even sometimes the enemy jungle to just catch and kill your AD carry if they go off into a side lane by themselves to catch farm. So it's usually better for you to be the one doing it. Okay, so some weird shit goes down. Does Lee sit? Yeah, he literally just face checks Master Yi. Jesus. Alright. So mid is pushed, so you're free to roam if you want. This poor guy is dead. Chopped up by the KLE. Okay, so you had mid push, so you're free to roam over. So the thing is, the mid wave's crashing again. At this point, you have 2 picks, so it's not as bad. Their team is kind of forced to react. This guy's just gonna kill everyone. He's got KLO. Okay, so it's the same concept as before. Like it's a recurring problem with you. The thing is, this fight starts, but look how far you are away, right? It's the same thing as before. This fight's outcome is going to be determined regardless. Like the fight's outcome is going to be determined independent of what action you choose. So because of that, you should just take the push instead, rather than going to this fight late. I understand you want to be with your team as much as possible to prevent potential throws, etc. But you're so late to this fight that you moving just doesn't matter. Like you need to start to identify that like if you're gonna be that late, you might as well just not come at all. Like
Yeah.
it's just you're just losing out on free minions every single time, or you're losing out on denying free minions to the enemy team here if you're going late. You know, sometimes it's okay to go late if it's like a huge cleanup coming, but like in that case, not only were you guys probably gonna win the fight because you had KLE where they're fighting with Thresh Azir only, you had 3 people there and they only had 2. Some cases like it's fine to go late just to clean people up, but that's not one of them. Like regardless, that fight's outcome is gonna be determined. Okay, so you pick up your Ludens. You're getting tier 2 boots really late, but with this build, getting tier 2s isn't as bad because you're not stacking Impen, because you're not going hunting guys, and Ionians are pretty unuseful on Ahri, and not a huge need for treads, nor Tabi this game, kind of just because the Jin is fed, but he's going to have his hands full dealing with Yi Kale, so not too much. You probably won't have to worry about him too much. So that guy just gets caught. You don't go too deep trying to avenge the kill. Okay, good that you're posturing to. I don't know if this is intentional or not. What you do here, like you see Annie get caught and you want to clear the wave, and you posture like people are coming. Like you take a bit of damage to clear the wave, like posturing that like people are coming instead of what they're actually doing.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's intentional, but it's really good. You get like the whole wave here. That's actually such a good play that you stepped up, traded some HP to toss 2 Qs onto the wave to clear it here. Because it buys your team all this time to get Baron.
Ideally, you just have to like keep the wave clear until they get
Yeah.
Baron.
Yep. Because yeah, the enemy team is tunneling onto the turret, so as soon as you clear the wave, they're gonna try to come to the next wave, and that's enough time for your team to do Baron. God, that's hilarious. Okay. So nothing to go back for here. So you should just stay and do another wave now that you guys have Baron as well. Back up. And then you back up behind the minions so you can't get insect off of it.
Oh, I actually get hooked here.
Ah. Okay. So all I'll really say about this is as soon as you see Thresh come in, just ult away. Like as soon as the hook comes. Or just like get ready to flash. Like as soon as you see him. Because the thing is, these guys are in such a terrible position, right? Because what can they do about these two right now? Realistically, send 5 people or don't send anyone because there's no way they can handle these guys. So all you guys need to do is not die to them. Because if you guys just don't die and you just hold Baron creeps this whole time and you just try to wave clear safely as much as you can, these guys are just gonna end the game. Like they're literally just gonna go all the way to the Nexus. But like the only winning play that these guys have in this case, because they can't handle your duo, is to force on the 3, which is you guys. So all you need to do is make sure you don't get forced on. You not having ultimate is irrelevant, and you not having flash is also quite irrelevant because you're not your team's win condition in this game. Your team's win condition is these 2 guys doing everything at this point because this guy has like a shit ton of gold. He's literally 3,000 gold above like the next person on your team, who is also the KO. So like you need to identify your job, which is literally just not die, and you need to take whatever steps you can to not die. And in this case, it's flashing the hook or ulting the hook, regardless of how well you think you can dodge it. Because now you're trading. Like, these guys are gonna get this turret, but they're also gonna get this. And had you just stayed alive and just stalled the push, you probably still would have traded, but it would have been a much slower trade on their end. But now, like, they're fast enough that they'll probably trade inhib, when in reality, you probably should have traded inhib for only 2 turrets, and maybe inhib turret. But now you're gonna have to trade inhib because you guys got caught. Oh. Holy shit, these guys. This is actually hilarious. Oh god. The 2v... Oh wow. That's good coordination. He didn't ult him, he knew. Okay. So what do you buy here with your money? Let me just see real quick. You got about 1,500? Let me see. Yeah, 1,500. So you buy Sorks and you buy Blasting Wand. Could be for like any item really. That's fine. I'd assume Void Staff. Doesn't have to be Void Staff.
I think I go for Rabadon.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I saw they weren't building MR. So
Yeah.
like, so I really need a Void Staff.
I'd say on a different champion, you'd still get Void Staff here 3rd. Just because even if they don't have a ton of MR, Void Staff's good. But Ahri's a bit different in the fact that her Q does a bunch of... a lot of her burst is like just already true damage from Q. So Magic Pen isn't as necessary on her. Obviously you still get it, but getting it early isn't as prudent. So good rotation to catch Lee Sin here. You guys got top pressure, you got bot pressure. So any pick you get is huge. Nice, another charm here. Just flash out, good. Because you guys provide a bunch of pressure just by being alive and active on the map. And just stay around. Yeah, you got red buff. You don't need to leave. Yep, good. Uh-oh.
Oh, I died here.
That guy didn't block for you. Okay. That's again just mechanical error. The correct play was sticking around there. So, wow. Yep. The correct play was to stick around there regardless of the fact that you died, because the way it was going is that you guys were putting immense pressure on them. Because this guy is pushing top with his stinger. This guy's pushing top, bot inhib is dead, and if you stick around here, the more people there are, the harder it is for them to get close to the wave to clear it. So you sticking around here is completely fine. Obviously it's a bit of a mechanical error to get hit by the Jinol, but regardless of dying there, staying there was still the correct play. And this guy just gets flashed on. Okay, so 1k here. Going for death cap I think is okay here. There's very few cases where death cap third is good, but it's not bad here. So sell your Dorn. You can just sell your Doran's ring or your control word. Probably your Doran's ring for needlessly large here if you're going for Rabadons. You're gonna spawn at like 1150 gold. Yeah, okay, good. That's fine. Okay. Speed up to here. Okay. Sticking with your team here. Pretty sure that's a visual bug.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an Azir turret there. Okay. So no objectives for a while. Open inhibitor top. So what you guys should be looking to do is you should be keeping mid push because there's supers that you need to clear, and then just let your duo go top lane and pressure the inhibitor. Oh god. Resting. Oh, he missed. Cut. Very interesting fight. I was about to say, I'm really surprised you guys don't end the game here, and then I realized what happened. Holy moly. Rip. Okay, so let's talk about this fight. This is a really long fight. Jesus, this is a really long fight. Okay. Okay. So, actually, okay, so he runs in to engage. Instantly kills Thresh. Okay. So, your dash is, not the worst, not the best. Let me play this in half speed. So, fight. Wow, he literally just runs at him. Okay, yeah. So, pretty odd engage. I would have actually just came around this way and just played with your team here. Because the thing is, there's one clear guy on your team who's very important to keep alive, right?
Yeah.
It's this guy. So all you need to do is play with him. You're strong enough to put a lot of threat on the back line, but this guy's even stronger and also puts a lot of threat on the back line. So if you just go front to back, hit whatever he's hitting, and just run through the fight should be really easy. What you do isn't awful.
I see Jin on the side, and I'm like, I'm gonna go one-shot this guy.
Yeah, you go in. Your first Q is a little early, but it's a low cooldown, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Your second dash is what is really bad, because you don't really actually get any distance, and like if you just walked up, it would have pretty much accomplished the same thing, and then you could have dashed towards Jin, looked for charm, and then dashed away. But instead you use your second dash towards the wall here, and it doesn't really accomplish anything. So when you go to use your third dash here, it's kind of awkward. You can't stick around at all because you don't have one more dash to you don't have one more dash to take yourself out of threat. So you kind of just have to walk away, and you can't follow up your charm with anything. Okay. So now this Jin ult comes out and makes things super, super awkward because no one really wants to block this. So The other mistake that's like pretty notable about this fight is that as soon as you go here, you need a blue trinket like this bush. Blue trinketing this bush is really big because it gives you complete vision of a zero coming in, and also if you put it in the bush, it's pretty hard for someone in the heat of the moment of the fight to hit it. And also like it'll give you vision for the second part of this fight. At any point, like when you're walking over, as soon as they cross towards like this trap and went further back, you should have just blue trinketed the bush. It's actually pretty important because not having vision in this bush makes things really awkward for parts of this fight. Because you don't see your Renekton here for a pocket, which is pretty spooky. And then obviously you didn't really get to see who you're tossing Charm at earlier because it wasn't warded. And then you guys literally just like give Azir like the dream scenario, which is the only reason you don't end here. Not really your fault. You're already too chunked out from using your dashes pretty subparly earlier in the fight, so you can't really do anything about the Azir or save the Yi at the end here. But yeah, the main problem with that fight was the way you use your ultimate could have been a lot more effective, and that's really the gist of it, honestly. If you're gonna come in from the side, that's fine, but you need to make sure you're using your dashes properly so you actually put a lot of pressure on the back line if you're going to not play target to target front to back with Master Yi. It's a lot safer to play front to back with Master Yi, but if you do see an opportunity where you can kill Jhin, it's not the worst thing in the world to take it. Okay. So I believe death cap, you're pretty close. You're about 500 off. So at this point, you should be telling your team, let me get my 16, let me get my death cap before we fight, if possible. Because the spike from death cap components to death cap is so insane. So the thing about death cap to death cap, death cap components to death cap spike is the death cap itself. It's actually a ridiculous spike. Some items like Ludens and Morello and even like Lichbane, if you have the components, yeah, obviously it's better to have the item completed, but it's not as big a deal as it is like when you're completing like a Zanya's or a death cap. If you're close to completing it, you need to be telling your team, like you need to be pinging your gold like consistently and telling your team like I am this far away and it is a big spike for me and we should wait for it, if at all possible. And it should be possible since Baron's still for a bit, still not up for a minute, that you wait for it, because that is at the end of the day, it's such a big jump up just even having all of the death cap components versus having the death cap itself, as long as you're not getting death cap like first or something stupid like that. So make sure you're letting your team know how close you are to items, and how close you are to leveling, because if you hit like just a minute or two more of time and you hit your level 16 and you get your death cap, you're considerably stronger than you were before. So when you're that close to spikes and it's that important of a spike, like you're finishing your Zanyas or you're finishing your death cap, whereas like a lot of the item's value comes from the completed item itself rather than just the components, make sure you're letting your team know that. Okay, so you guys looks like you want to do 3-2 again. In that case, you guys should be top lane. Faster transition to Baron, and also further away so the collapse is harder for them. Oh boy, it's happening again. Okay. Okay, so you guys need to push middle hard. Your blue trinket's down. I was about to say you should use your blue trinket to see if anyone's crossing and see. Well, people are definitely crossing. You want to see how many are crossing and who's crossing and how fast they're gonna get there. You can't really do the Baron with your 3. No one can tank it, and you don't have smite there.
We actually do take the Baron here at this point, I think.
Oh, it's pretty scary proposition unless they send all of them. Okay, they do send all of them. Okay, free Baron. Because you have Tibbers to tank, actually. I forgot about that. Yeah. They literally send all 5. Had they not sent, or they sent all 4 that are alive. Obviously, Renekton already died. But yeah. Had they not sent all of them, this would have been pretty scary Baron, because no tank. Okay, so just reset here. Kale somehow makes it out alive. He doesn't. and just get your death cap and control word. You have your blue trinket, and now you got level 16. So now you got all your tools to one-shot people. Jin has no MR. You itemized Hobby for the Master Yi and the Caitlyn, so you're free if you see an opportunity to go for the one-shot on him. So let's speed this up a little bit. So looks like you guys are just gonna pick up this dragon when it spawns. That's fine. Grab the scuttle, make sure you have mid push. Bot lane wave is coming, but not that big a deal. So your team doesn't actually want to do dragon, they want to go top. So yeah, same thing as before. All you need to do, make sure you don't get engaged on, you don't die, because your job is to just let those two push for free. Enemy team for middle, so those two will free push. Now that they're backing up, you can pressure. Either go bottom or get the dragon or stay middle. All of them are fine. Looking for a Zero on the side here. Nice. Let's see how much damage that did to him. Yeah. I actually think you could have gone over the wall.
I think I could have gone over the wall.
Yeah, because even without vision, you don't have blue trinket up, but you go over the wall. Worst case scenario, he like ults you, right? And then you just walk away. But the thing is, like, it's completely fine to trade your ultimate for Azir's ultimate because their team needs Azir to do work in a fight more than your team needs you to do work in a fight, right? Because if you don't have a great team fight, you still have this Caitlyn with 3 item to fall back on, and these two to carry the fight. So if you don't even if you don't get the kill, like the only way Azir gets away from you is if he ults, and if he ults, then it's hard for him to survive a fight because there's no way for him to get Master Yi and Kayle off him anymore. So it'll be better for you guys because this guy, these two are basically their whole team. This guy is irrelevant. This guy is also quite irrelevant, and this guy's only relevancy is his actives. So just getting Azir to use his ultimate here, or even killing him, would have been really, really good. And you heard the combo hit him, so you know you were safe to do that. So you guys rotate to middle late here. I mean, rotate to the dragon late here. Shove middle for a while. Not the worst thing in the world. Okay. Just kill the dragon here, and then go show up the bot wave. Good. Your duo is not completely unintelligent. They realize that they can't pressure right now because they're waiting for you guys to get pressure in the other lanes, which is how it should be. Your Annie's solo pushing middle, which is fine. She's just applying Bear into the creeps to give you guys time to shove up bottom, and now they're going back towards top. Oh, they're backdooring it too. Jeez. Okay, so Annie gets engaged on by 2 people, and there's 3 bottom, so all you need to do is just survive. Any kills you get is just extra icing. But you just back away here, can't really get anything with that Renekton in front, and your team takes inhibitor. So really not too much to say about that. Your job there was to not die, and you did it. The rest of your team did not get the memo, unfortunately. But that's irrelevant to you. So you're pretty low on mana. Just get this last wave shoved, and then go back here, pick up either like an elixir or whatever item. I don't know what that Q was.
I fumbled my Q there.
Yeah. Regardless, doesn't really make a difference. Just take a base here. There's no need to fight. There's absolutely 0 reason to fight. You have no ultimate. You have low mana. Just backping your team here. Backping your team. Okay. Good. So, make sure you're communicating with your team like via pings and text whenever you have the chance. Okay, so Void Staff here for sure. Light Blasting Wand. Okay. That's one. Okay. So no objectives on the map. No neutral objectives on the map to play for. So just once again, let these 2 guys do their thing. You 3 play as a stack. Whenever the top wave, which will never happen actually, whenever the other lane's minions stack up too much onto your side, which won't happen because you have inhibitor, then you just go catch it. That's how you play a 3-2. Pretty simple. So once again, wait until you see people commit to the 2. There's 3 people bottom right now and they're engaging. So you should actually move over to the fight in this case because you're close enough to impact it. And they'll all be drawn over because of the inhibitor anyway. So good recognition to not stay middle. Wow, that did no damage. Good charm onto his ear. Dash forward, free kill, and he's gonna die here, but you can trade it back. A lot of damage. Just play with Caitlyn here. Okay, that's fine. The team's free pushing. Good charm. And this should be a pretty easy cleanup.
This game.
That was a pretty long fight, and I'm assuming this guy just preserves his KD.
He gets another kill on me.
Okay. Okay, so let's just walk through this last fight. Pretty odd fight, but I think overall it's probably your cleanest team fight. So you're there right at the start, which is you're there pretty close to the start. It's good that you don't tunnel in the middle. You don't have a wave anyway. So you move over to the source of the action here. You get a really nasty charm on the Azir right around here. You're kind of just playing with your team. You don't block the Jin'o, but it's not really safe for you to block it. So Azir walks up too far here, you get a nice charm on him. Pretty clean blow up here. So, and then you continue upwards into the fight to try to take pressure off Annie. Unfortunately, it's not enough to save her. You dash to get your Q onto as many people as possible in the AoE. That's fine. Another good charm onto Lee Sin, just kiting backwards. Another Q. Good flash from the Renekton. Unfortunately, your Caitlyn doesn't have flash, so kind of just have to leave her to die, but that's fine because you wanted it to be one or the other of you, not both. You just cut out Renekton here. Don't have anything else to do in the fight. Your charm is about to come up. You walk back forward with your team. You don't pussy out. You finish the turret. Good. Once again, your primary carry, Master Yi, is still up, so you just play with him. Hit a good charm on the Renekton, and Master Yi just cleans everyone up. So yeah, this fight was definitely your cleanest fight. Not really anything to complain about. Nothing really anything to nitpick about your play this fight. You played the hand you were given, and it was really clean. Really nothing to say about that fight. So overall, there's nothing like specifically egregious in your play that stands out. It's more of the fact that you're very indecisive about what you want to do, and you don't understand your pressure pockets in lane. You don't understand like when you should be playing to a side, and you don't understand when you can look for a trade and when you can look for an all-in and when you shouldn't look for an all-in. You need to be paying closer attention to EXP differential in lane. There's multiple times where you're taking trades or you're engaging on him when you have pots that you could use to tick, and when you're down a level. It's good that you identify it in some sense when you pointed out to me, oh, I wanted to engage on him because he didn't have exhaust and I had both my summoners. But you have to understand that it goes deeper than that sometimes. You know, EXP differential, HP differential, sustain differential, all of that plays into account just as much as summoner spell differential. And if too many of those factors add up, like they did when you took that all in at level 8 versus level 7, then you lose the all in, even if you play it like relatively cleanly. Obviously, there's mechanical and micro errors that I nitpicked about in like certain trades, but honestly, mechanically, you're not insane, but it's right around like where it should be if you're trying to climb. Like there's nothing like particularly wrong with your mechanics. Your decision making, aside from like your biggest issue with decision making isn't like some of the person I coached earlier today. I don't know if you're there for the session, but it's not that you take every terrible fight. It's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum of decision making, where you don't play greedily enough and you play too much for your team. Like you try to follow every single roam when in reality there's pretty much every time you're trying to match roams this game, it just wasn't the correct decision to match because either one, you weren't going to be able to do anything there anyway, or two, you were going to be so late that you being there wouldn't have impacted the game or impacted the situation at all. You need to start looking out for you just start looking out and understanding situations where if you're going to be that late to match a roam, or if you're behind and you're trying to match a roam, that it's just not going to be worth it. If your team is ahead and you're going to match the roam late, then that's a different thing because like your team might be able to hold out long enough for your roam to make it in time, even if you are a bit weaker or if you are a bit late. But pretty much all these situations that we pointed out where you were trying to roam late instead of shoving the wave or just not shoving the wave fast enough when someone recalled or something, it was a recurring thing. That's something you need to look into and start fixing because if you just clean up your decision making on when to aggressively trade and aggressively go all in lane, and you make sure you're not following late and shoving the wave properly before you go back, and when they go back, then you'll accrue pretty large. You start to accrue pretty large lane leads, and then you can choose. Your roams yourself rather than having to match all the time. In this game, you weren't the focal point of your team by any stretch of the imagination, so not winning your lane and not winning your lane didn't really mean as much. But if you fix those small, like regardless of had you won lane, you'd like let's say you'd played out all those like skirmishes and all those trades in lane properly, and you'd made the correct decision on whether to shove the wave and force him to lose minions or match roam, and you'd made the correct decision every time and been up like 30, 40 CS and maybe a kill or two. It probably wouldn't have changed anything in this game because Master E and Kale just kind of rolled everyone. But for the games that are closer and you don't have a duo queue Master E Kale with Kale building Ardent Sensor Knight's Vow and Master E popping off, then those advantages you'll accrue in lane just from making smart recall and push decisions and smart to roam or not to roam decisions, those will matter a lot more because yeah, just in this game, like it wasn't necessary for you to be relied upon as a consistent threat just because the rest of your team, well, mainly just your top and your jungle went off so hard, but in games that are closer, that's going to start to matter a lot more. So making sure you clean up those aspects of your gameplay are very important. Your team fighting is not great, but it's not terrible. Like I said, like there's nothing super egregious about a lot of your team fights. Most of it was just like small nitpicks about how you dashed and when you threw charm and stuff. And this last team fight was like clean, like nothing to change at all really about this one. So like your team fighting looks overall pretty solid. It's just more from what I saw this game. You need to just clean up your lane decision making and about like when to trade and all in and when to leave and not to leave, and that's about it. You have any questions before we finish up?
No, not really.
All right, if you're on our schedule again, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
I'll see you around.
All right. See ya.
Okay, so yeah, that was actually a pretty controlled replay.